Yay!
Welcome, ladies and
Yay!
gentlemen, to the second episode of the AR Wrestling Podcast. This week, we again go over Raw and Smackdown. Any hints or teasers that you may have missed? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Getting ready for another banger.
Of course, this week was pretty interesting. We got to see the start of the draft. We seen NXT Battleground get announced being held at UFC Apex in Las Vegas. That is June 9th. We seen King and Queen of the Ring be announced. But in my opinion, I think one of the cooler things was Randy Orton being in the WWE for 22 years. He debuted. He's been in the WWE for 22 years and 2 days as we are recording this episode.
Bona fide legend right there.
Agreed.
Dude's a generational talent. Shaped our childhood. Shaped, I'm sure, a ton of other people's childhoods. Like Randy's a GOAT. He's a modern day GOAT.
He is honestly, I won't even say modern day. He goes on my Mount Rushmore.
Really?
I would say that. If
That's fair.
my Mount Rushmore would probably be Randy, Cena, Austin, and Undertaker.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
That's a hot take though. That's a hot
that
take
Mount
Rushmore.
I like that Mount Rushmore.
But I mean, to not necessarily, say that. But Ryan, what is your? I want to know what yours is now that I
My
said
Mount Rushmore, dog. It changes like every 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure. Undertaker's on there for sure.
Right.
And then I gotta put Stone Cold Steve Austin up there.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking A. Triple H probably. Triple H is probably the most like interchangeable out of all of these guys for me personally. But my number 4 is a hot take beyond hot takes because of everything that's happened recently. Want it known. I'm only talking about what he's done inside of wrestling industry, not anything he's done outside of wrestling.
You
and
say
Brock Lesnar.
Motherfucker.
It's Brock Lesnar.
I've actually seen
it's the fucking man
coming back. I've seen huge hints of him coming back. There was something I've seen.
I don't think he needs to come back for a full run, in my opinion. I think this should be a retirement run.
Yeah.
If he does, but like I said, that's a hot take. That's a real hot take right there.
Yeah. But to not skip over what's happening here in the next month or two, like I said, we have NXT Battleground held at the UFC Apex in Vegas. That
is huge. That's actually huge.
That's June 9th.
This is one of the first big like
UFC
things to come out.
Crossovers.
Yeah, one of the first big things to come out of the TKO merger.
Yeah.
We're finally getting a real big crossover.
Yeah, for real. And then we have King and Queen of the Ring. That is May 25th in Saudi Arabia.
I'm excited
I wonder if
for
that's just
that.
gonna be listed as a normal Saudi show, and it's just gonna be like sub headlined as King and Queen of the Ring.
I think that's where the tournament finals are like culminating at. They said so. Like, I think that's the show after Backlash. So once we get through Backlash, these next few weeks are going to be the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, with the finals happening at the actual Saudi show. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested what to do with the women, because I would assume they're doing the normal show with the women, because the rules over in Saudi Arabia are different than they are over here.
Right.
But I mean,
they've still been able to like put on good wrestling matches for the women. They just haven't been able to wear like their traditional ring attire. I think the women will be fine.
Yeah, and some of the shit they're actually limited to. I forget I don't know much, but
yeah, there's some shit, if I remember right.
Yeah, and then
I haven't read too much into that.
There's big rumors speculating all over X that I've been seeing. WrestleMania being in London. The mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, he said if he gets reelected, he's going to bring NBA, more NFL, and more importantly to us, WrestleMania. WrestleMania to London. Posted that on X. Triple H responded with, "Let's talk." And to really make this a whole nother thing why they should push for it, honestly, I think WrestleMania in London will be cool. would just suck it sucked for like for us because it takes away the aura of the night when it usually happens.
Yeah, we'd have to watch it at a little bit of a different time.
We'd have to watch it like I think it's like 1 p.m. or something like that.
Nah, I'm fine with that, honestly.
But then another thing about this, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, and Drew McIntyre have all pushed for this. 3 of the biggest stars this company has right now. I think 2 of the biggest stars and a part-timer that this company has right now. I think we should do it. Honestly.
I think it's absolutely like needed. Like WrestleMania's done like every major city in America. It's time to go international with it.
Yeah.
And like we saw with Money in the Bank last year. Yeah, it was last year when they had Money in the Bank in London and they went crazy during that show. So just think what they would do for WrestleMania.
Wasn't that when Jay pinned Roman?
That was when Jay pinned Roman.
That's what I thought.
Hell,
I'm kind of excited for Money in the Bank this year. It's in fucking, I think it's Ontario, Toronto or something
Ontario.
like
that. Hell yeah. Money in the Bank's going to be dope as fuck. I still got Tiffy winning. Give it to Tiffany. Yeah. Give her a pink briefcase.
That'd be sick.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Honestly. Speaking of Tiffany, she didn't get drafted last night, but she has an opportunity to be on Raw. And with Raw happening, we saw Jey Uso and Damian Priest cut a promo to open Raw. Damian has kind of gone on this power trip that we've seen this past week since Mommy's been gone. And Jey Uso kind of pointed out that Damian's apparently the leader, and when Mommy's there, she's the leader. Ooh. But he also goes, hey, when you tell Mommy, tell her I said I miss her, tell her I said, oh yeah, and by the way, Damian, you're Dominic Mysterio's bitch. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, that was hard.
Crazy. Jey Uso's spitting fire. Yeet. I'm really interested to see where we go with the Damian Priest power trip kind of angle, where he's
might hate
like
this.
trying to outgrow Judgment Day.
If you might hate this, but I want Jey to win at Backlash.
I won't hate that, actually. I would love Jey Uso to win at Backlash.
I mean, it would kind of essentially bury the fuck out of Damian. But I mean, Drew McIntyre has had issues with Uso, Priest, Rollins, and Punk. Why not take the title off Damian, give it to Jey? Clash at the Castle is a month later.
Jey versus
lose
Drew.
To Drew at Clash at the Castle.
That would be wild.
As much as I think we might be seeing a Sheamus versus McIntyre at Clash at the Castle with them bickering back and forth constantly on X, like I'm seeing all these tweets as it is insane. Like these two are just going back and forth. But I think we're gonna see that more than anything. But I don't really know. As much as I would love to see Drew in a world title match, I think we see Drew versus Sheamus at Clash of the Castle. Just because
that's what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. Because right now, I mean, we don't even have the full Backlash card. We only have 6 matches. I think we need 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I think maybe.
So I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea to throw in a Backlash. But I mean, that's kind of just a thrown together. Oh, let's put a match on to go. No, there's nothing really significant that's been happening except for social media beef. That's about it. There's no significance in the ring just yet that I've seen. I mean, Sheamus did get drafted to Raw. I mean, we'll obviously get to the draft later, but I think McIntyre goes there as well if he hasn't been drafted yet. I don't know. I didn't really watch SmackDown last night. I was busy. But with that being said, the champions are protected, and after that we had the World Tag Team Championship match between Awesome Truth and DIY. I was kind of disappointed this wasn't the main event.
Yeah, I agree.
Then again, I'm also disappointed that it wasn't I'm okay with it not being the main event, but I'm also disappointed it wasn't before the main event. You kind of just opened Raw with the title match. It was, I don't know, for a match wise.
Yeah, with what the main event was, I feel like I wouldn't have been as upset if they had switched the world title or the world tag match with the women's world title battle royal that happened in the main event. Because
I think that'd take away the credibility
could
of that women's title.
Yeah, but I feel like you really could have like given these guys a couple more minutes to like really work in the ring and tell a better story than what they did. I mean, I like what they did at the end, the angle with Ciampa not shaking hands and kind of teasing maybe Ciampa's going to go heel, but I would prefer both of DIY to go heel, like Johnny Gargano joined Ciampa with that. And I would like them to,
go ahead.
Yeah, and I'd like them to beat Awesome Truth for the titles.
Speaking of Gargano, he was at NXT Spring Breaking when Trick Williams beat Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Men's Championship. I was just say men's to make it easier, but the NXT Championship match, that was a match that I enjoyed. I will say, Dave Meltzer has been giving hell to Trick Williams all over social media. And there's wrestlers and people who are backing Trick up like nothing. I back up Trick because personally, I think Trick's a good wrestler. But Dave, on the other hand, thinks Trick is just one of those wrestlers that you can either, even though if you are a good wrestler and they're still a bad wrestler, you can make them look good. That's what he said with Ilya. He said Ilya is one of those wrestlers where you can do that. And I mean, with Ilya being so young, I mean, that's insane that he's getting those props. But again, you're burying Trick. Trick's actually a good wrestler.
Yeah, I agree with half of what Meltzer said there.
He's just not he's not your real traditional wrestler. I mean, neither is
He's
Gunther
not fully polished either.
Yeah, he's not.
He's literally a developing talent right now.
He's in developmental.
Yeah, he's still a brand new wrestler, like brand new talent. Like give him 5-6 years, I guarantee you he'll be world championship material. Like Dragunov right now, I completely agree with the praise being hurled onto Dragunov. He's ready to be called up to main roster, and that should happen on Monday.
I think that's why he lost his title on Tuesday, was because he's gonna. I mean, and plus he announced that he was going to get, or that he's in the draft as well. So that on top of it really tells us like, hey, Ilya's coming to the main roster. Just don't know when, because Gunther wasn't taken at all last night. Neither was Imperium. I mean, we don't really have Imperium anymore. But
no, we do not. But why is that? Speaking of Imperium,
Gunther made his return.
My boy! I fucking love Gunther so much. God damn. Every time, he doesn't even have to wrestle, bro. Every time I see Gunther, I just like Gunther more.
He's
just that fucking guy.
Agreed. He came out, cut a promo, and he actually thanked Sami Zayn. It wasn't your traditional promo. He probably told Sami, "Hey, Sami, thanks for taking this title off my back. Now I don't have to worry about anything that you have to worry about now. Now I can go to wherever I want, essentially." The hunter has become the hunted has become the hunter, like Cody has been saying here recently as well.
Oh yeah.
Like I said,
I think that's going to tie together.
But the main reason he came out was to announce himself for the King of the Ring tournament. So he's now in it, which I think was pretty cool. I mean, I don't know who else we'll see. I think
Drew McIntyre said he was going to be in it.
McIntyre's in there as well somewhere. I think, we were going to wait.
Xavier Woods said he would.
But because he's the reigning defending King of the Ring, of course, yeah. But speaking of, again, Imperium, we had New Day versus Imperium. New Day won. I thought the match was great. Honestly, it settled the beef between New Day and Imperium.
I thought it was hilarious when Xavier, right before the match, when like Gunther challenged him, like, "You two will fight Imperium." I felt Xavier Woods when he said, "No, we've fought them 1,000 times already," because they have.
Yeah, which I thought was cool, but post match was pretty interesting. We had Kaiser beating down Giovanni Vinci. And I mean, honestly, I've seen this happening, but I was waiting for Gunther to basically push Kaiser aside and be like, "All right, Kaiser and Vinci, fuck you guys. I don't need y'all." Yeah. I mean, he proved it. He had a 660-plus day reign as Intercontinental Champion, and he basically did a majority of it by himself.
He did do majority of it by himself. Like you look back, Gunther had Imperium interfere in his matches like none at all, which is
Yeah, he's not
why
Roman
he
Reigns.
like slowly became like my favorite because he was just like this
Gunther's a real
force that
Gunther's the
didn't
real
need
tribal chief.
backup. He's the real tribal chief.
Gunther's the real tribal chief.
Acknowledge him.
For real. I mean, I didn't really have much for this match. I thought it was a good match. Really, I agreed. Like I said, with you saying Xavier Woods, I agree with Xavier Woods. That shit, I didn't want to see that match honestly, but it was a good match. They always put on a banger. I will
They
say.
do always put on a banger. That's undeniable. There's
Mm-hmm.
always a good match between those two.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Who
really have
else has
much.
a good match between them every single time they're in the ring? Drew and Sheamus.
Drew and Sheamus, yes. McIntyre came out, cut the promo, going over WrestleMania, and him bitching about losing the title. Nobody cares about him losing his title anymore. And says he's gonna aim for the King of the Ring tournament. Like I was saying earlier, Sheamus came out calling Drew out for his failure at WrestleMania, and basically was like, "Yeah, dude, this is your fault." And Drew McIntyre literally straight up going after Sheamus. He goes, "Yeah, and what about you? What about all those burgers you've been eating?" I was like,
It's
"Okay, dude."
burger after burger after burger.
Bro, Sheamus tweeted that on X, and it was like he put
Realness.
like 20 burgers. Like he put burger after burger after burger after burger after burger. I was like, goodness.
Oh man.
That's what I think. I think coming from this and all the social media beef that they're having right now, I think we see McIntyre and Sheamus at some point in the future. If it's not Clash of the Castle, it's definitely going to be at Money in the Bank. But I think that's where you cut it off. I don't think you go any further than Money in the Bank. Unless,
Yeah,
something drastic happens, and then I would love
no,
to
I
see
agree. I
Sheamus.
like the idea of doing Sheamus versus McIntyre for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do Sheamus v McIntyre, and then after that, if Jay doesn't win the title, or if he does, whoever has the world championship, Drew McIntyre can go after them after dealing with Sheamus. Then after dealing with Sheamus, he can deal with Punk, because hopefully after
Yeah.
all that time has gone by, Punk is going to be healed from his tricep. So yeah,
Punk's
speaking of
already
Punk,
healed. It's just him being released at this point.
yeah. But speaking of Punk, Drew even like mentioned in this promo, like he dropped a little hint of like, well, it started when Sheamus mentioned Punk first. He said, "You need to get over this obsession with CM Punk." And Drew McIntyre kind of dropped a hint about Punk where he said, "You know what he did to my career when I was a kid," implying that Punk like kind of screwed him over or maybe did him dirty when he was like really early on in his career. And that's why McIntyre is holding this grudge, which I thought that was a really interesting story beat to just drop that little hint in there in something that doesn't involve Punk at all to kind of further that storyline along even more.
Yeah, and he was at SmackDown last night. But he came out after it went off air and he cut a promo. I didn't get a chance to watch promo because I went to sleep. Um, but I think we'll see Punk on Raw. Punk's actually in the draft pool for Raw. So
Heck
we will. I think we
yeah.
will see him there. I'm thinking I want to see this Drew and Punk storyline come out, but I honestly, dude, I don't know if I want a title with this or not because since Punk's been gone for 10 years, he just came back in
Mm-hmm.
November,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying so I agree with the thought of not giving Punk a title shot because he's been gone for so long, and now he's got to basically work his way up. But again, like I had predicted with you at WrestleMania, I wanted Drew versus Rollins, or not Drew versus Punk versus Rollins. Punk wins it, and it basically whatever happened to Drew is what happened to Punk. But Punk doesn't flaunt it. He's just injured. He can't get up, and that's when Judgment Day should have came out. But
Mm-hmm.
that to that point, it was okay. Now Punk had a title before Drew had a title again. Now Drew's even more pissed off, and then you go from there.
Right. I like
But
that thinking.
instead, he doesn't. Yeah. But instead, Punk goes for his rematch clause against Damian, but he doesn't win it. Drew cost him
Mm,
instead of
that
the
would
other
have
way.
been
Instead of
cool.
the other way around, when Punk costed Drew in the number one contenders match.
Yeah, that would have been cool. like my whole idea behind the Punk going after the world title isn't necessarily that he's like hungry for it, that he wants to be world champion. Like I think I like threw out the idea of redoing the Summer of Punk with
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre this time. Have Drew McIntyre threaten to leave the company with the world heavyweight title, and CM Punk come out and be the guy that confronts him and be like, hell nah, bitch, you ain't
So
doing that. But then it's a story of who's the bigger hypocrite.
so Drew is Punk and Punk is Paul.
Like Triple H?
Yeah.
No, McIntyre is Punk. Punk is Cena from 2011 Money in the Bank.
Oh, I'm thinking of I think the SummerSlam after, like the year after, something like that.
Yeah. So then you have CM Punk being the hypocrite by saying, how could you possibly leave as the world champion? Like, you have a responsibility in all this, but it's like, didn't you do the same thing in 2011? So you can really tell a cool hypocrite, like, who's more of, like, against their own morals here.
Yeah. I mean, even with this whole thing with Sheamus, even if Sheamus has to beat a triple threat, I mean, with with Drew and say Damian at Clash of the Castle, I think it would be more. I mean, I wouldn't even be upset if Sheamus got the world title at Clash of the Castle. Just a more drop it in Drew's face, like, hey, this is something you can't get, and basically make Drew more pissed off until he gets it. And like you had the idea of the ultimate hypocrite, and then just again, like you said, run the Summer of Punk, but and basically call it the Summer of McIntyre.
Yeah, DM Hunk.
But speaking of Sheamus, we saw Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus after. Dude, what the fuck's going on with Nakamura? Is he a development talent now?
I think so.
I don't remember the last time he won a fucking match.
I genuinely cannot remember the last time he won a match. Like, he did all that stuff with Seth and then Cody, and then he's just been gone.
Yeah, he's just
like man, I like Nakamura, and don't get me wrong, like
time has
definitely caught up with him. Really? He's never held it.
Really?
He has never held a world title. He's fought AJ Styles for it.
That's what I was
fought a couple other people for it, but he's never actually won a world title. That's fucking crazy. If you like,
Shinsuke win it. At least the one. He doesn't have to win it at the big one. He does not need to win it at WrestleMania. He can win it like SummerSlam or something.
Yeah,
I would like to see it before he retires.
I totally agree. I like Shinsuke Nakamura a lot. Like, I think time has definitely started to catch up with his career because he definitely has worked a very rough style that has led to a lot of injuries throughout his career. So he's not the performer that he used to be, but he can still put on a really good match, and I think he still deserves a big title run.
I mean, he just put on a match against Ilya, the first Raw of the year, which it wasn't that bad of a match, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
I actually had a buddy at that Raw, and he fucking loved it. He even agreed that Ilya is going to become a top star, and he doesn't even watch it. He doesn't even know. He is not really as invested as we are. But
that's epic, bro. That just says something about the man.
Yeah. But next segment, Chad Gable came out and basically called Sami Zayn and Alpha Academy the biggest pieces of shit.
Yeah, the Chad Gable heel turn.
I think we finally get it.
It's complete.
The way they represented it to me, like to me personally, it wasn't it's not like a heel turn. It's more of a soft baby face going into heel turn. It's not like a full blown like, oh, I'm going heel now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just
what I'd be interested in seeing with this story is like Chad Gable throughout. Like we saw Otis, poor Otis. He was in the ring and he said, "Oh, we'll all do it together for the team." Like, but you can tell Otis doesn't want to be part of this whole like bad Alpha Academy thing. So what I would do is I would have
wants to keep playing the good guy.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would redo the Sammy v. Roman turn from Royal Rumble. Now I would Otis attack fucking Chad Gable to turn him into like a super baby face. And then you run the Creed brothers in and pair them with Chad Gable to do Otis and Tozawa as the underdog Alpha Academy versus Chad Gable and the Creed brothers as the new Alpha Academy. Bam.
I seen an idea. I like that.
Those
I've
would
seen
be
an
banger
idea
matches.
where Gable would actually kick out everyone and then bring in the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile as, like you said, the new Alpha Academy. But I didn't see it as like how you saw it. I just saw it as, okay, he just basically left and then basically created a whole new one.
I mean, that'd be a dope one too. Either way, I really
Because,
want to see the Creed brothers and Chad Gable form a new, like, Alpha Academy or Team Angle type group.
Yeah, I would say we're seeing essentially a Team Angle-esque group with if Chad Gable and the Creed brothers pair together.
That would be so fucking cool. I'd love it.
I mean, I would love to see that because that would just be an ultimate powerhouse team. Like you have Gable, you basically have Gable with the Intercontinental, and then you have the Creed brothers with whatever tag titles.
Right. I would,
mean,
dude, that'd be so badass. It'd be suplex after suplex after suplex after suplex.
Yeah, no shit. We got, dude, just bring in the Brock party then at that point.
Brock Lesnar, Suplex City. They're building the fucking suplex, like, Super City. With all them.
Wasn't this the... Am I tweaking? Is this the first Raw without Mommy? Right?
This is the yeah.
Yes, this is the first Raw without Mommy. So, like I was just asking, in the first Raw without Mommy, we saw a Dom and Liv Morgan cross paths backstage. Dom, he has an injury. I think it's to his like shoulder or something like that.
It's shoulder or something.
Yes, he will not have to have surgery. He did tweet that out, so good for him. Good for Dom. But do we see Dom turn on Mommy and join Liv?
Man, that stare down those two had backstage, I think that was the tease for it. I honestly would lose my mind if that happened. Like, Dom, you're such a little piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, the second Rhea gets hurt and leaves, and then the second he's hurt and he's all, like, vulnerable and stuff, he has to go to Liv Morgan so she can take care of him. Fuck you, Dom, and fuck you, Liv.
Yeah, real.
It would be freaking... That would be a way to...
a new dog.
You got a new dog?
She got a new dog. She got like 4 dogs now, bro.
Oh, yeah.
She's been posting her dog all over Twitter.
Good for Rhea.
All of her dogs have their own fucking social medias, bro.
Hey, if I was Rhea, I should make a social media for my dog. That's a good idea.
Bro, let's do it. But I mean, I would honestly. So here's my thought with this whole thing. So now we have Dom and Liv backstage. Liv and Becky now fight for the money, or not money, the World Heavyweight Championship, the Women's World Title, whatever you want to fucking call it. We have them fight for that. Liv wins. Now Rhea's back. We see something happen at SummerSlam because Rhea should be back around SummerSlam. And now we see Rhea versus Liv for the world title at SummerSlam. And that's when Dom does the turn.
Oh. Oh, man. I'd love that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
You could do the turn in so many ways. I don't know how you would do it, though.
That's so... You could literally have him just trip Rhea. Like, have him just grab her foot when she's running the ropes and trip her. And then Liv hits her with, like, a knee to the back of the head when she's, like, looking at Dom like, what the fuck?
Oh, code breaker?
Yeah, something like that. Literally. Oh, my gosh. It'd be so good.
That would be. Honestly, I'd mess with that.
I'd fuck with it. I'd fuck with it hard. Especially if it gets, like, Liv Morgan another world title run.
You know, I was really upset when they drafted Nia Jax. I really was. Because I wanted to see Nia and Becky's feud go on more.
Wanted them to continue with that.
Yeah, and then cool. Liv kind of keeps pecking at it, like she's going to be a part of it, and then... Huh?
Make it a triple threat at some point?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. But
dude, you're cooking there. I like it.
with talking about turning, we saw. I'll lead all this. We saw Andrade and Ricochet versus Santos and JD. The reason why I say turning, we saw Santos do something pretty interesting last night on SmackDown that we'll get to. But Ricochet and Andrade won. Damian came out to attack both of them after the match, and he basically looked all at the Judgment Day and said, "I don't need anyone but myself. I don't need you guys. Like, fuck y'all. You guys need me." And that's I like this Damian power trip, to be honest. Like, I know this match happened, but I'm still more on this Damian power trip. I like it a lot because then it's gonna come back and bite him in the ass. And then now Finn's gone. He's with JD, I think. Dom is now with Liv, and now we have just had the Terror Twins left, and then Rhea comes back and looks at him like, "Dude, what the fuck did you just do? Like, what is wrong with you? You fucked this up. Now I have to rebuild it because of you."
Yeah.
And she basically forms this whole new Judgment Day and tries to fight and get Dom back, but Dom's kind of like lost because every segment Rhea brings up Dom. Dom's in the ring with Liv as well, so it's always those three. Dom's like, I don't know what to do because Liv has him under this so-called trance because she has that eye in her Titantron entrance, and she has it on the back of her shirt. So he's got her in she's got him in like a trance, and Rhea's trying to snap him out of it and be like, "Dom, it's me, it's your mommy, you're my Latino heat, essentially." But Ricochet, I don't really know what we see with him. I think he's just he's at a stalemate because he just keeps fighting fucking JD. What has this done for Ricochet? To be honest, I don't see
He just
much.
won the speed title.
Yeah, I haven't seen that actually. Have they released an actual belt, or is it just like a title?
Yeah, they released like the actual belt.
Oh shit, I'd have to look at it.
Looks like shit.
Yeah, that surprised me. All their fucking belts look like shit right now. But I mean, I don't really see what we do with Ricochet much. I think he's at a stalemate. Same with Santos and him and the whole Legado del Fantasma and OWO angle. I would do want to get more to that. We get to SmackDown. Same with Andrade, but JD, I like this whole thing with JD and Judgment Day. He keeps saying stuff like they don't need me. They kind of, or I don't need them. They need me type shit, like Damien's saying. And it's kind of just a back and forth thing of like, yes, JD wants to be in it, but if he keeps getting pushed away, he's just basically going to say, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Which instead, or not instant, I don't know what fucking word it is. But going back to the whole Finn turning as well, Finn going to JD, that's when Finn turns as well because he realizes his best friend's leaving and he sees Damon on his power tree. He's like, "All right, dude, you're not who you used to be with this world title, dude. I need you out. Like, I'm gone. See ya."
Right.
I don't know. That's what I got for it.
That'd be pretty dope. I really liked this. I like the presentation of Damian Priest and all that right now. He's coming across like a pretty good badass.
I do agree with that. And main event of the night, speaking of the women's old world champion. We had the battle royal for the vacant women's world championship. We had Becky Lynch win it. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell both got eliminated by Maxine. I thought that was badass. Nia did her thing with dropping Piper Niven twice on Becky Lynch on the announcer table.
Dropped it twice.
I didn't. So when we were doing these notes, when we were doing these notes, I was just thinking, like, but
I'm not taking notes.
Yeah, I didn't. When I was taking notes, I didn't see Chelsea Green was eliminated, and the refs didn't notice that. I didn't realize that. So
it was really fucking funny.
I happened to be on X, and I happened to just see it. I was like, "What the hell?"
Chelsea Green's a golden character, if you ask me, dude.
Yeah,
Chelsea Green's so underrated.
I want to see her against Tiffany Stratton.
That'd be so funny.
Thing with that, because you basically have two Barbies right now on the roster. You have Raw with Chelsea Green. SmackDown has Tiffany Stratton.
Literally.
But we saw the final three. I think we all saw this final three coming with Nia, Liv, and Becky. I was just kind of upset about the winner, Becky Lynch, to be honest. I wanted Liv. I think everybody wanted Liv.
I kind of did, but it makes more sense to put it on Becky here, as she's like an established star. Like it wouldn't have done as much for Liv Morgan to say that she won the world title off of a battle royal randomly on Raw, because like that would have been two quote unquote like fluke or asterisk title wins for her. She won her first world title with Money in the Bank, and then she won her second one if she had won it on Monday by winning a battle royal. Like that's not two really big like establishment like wins for her title run.
Okay, so
I
that's
think it's
okay.
gonna.
Okay, so I'm seeing that more as storyline purposes more than just like how you win the world title. The reason why I said I wanted Liv to win was to start the whole revenge tour. I mean, she's already started it essentially, but just to kind
Yeah,
of
that will
keep,
start.
just to build it more. I think now that we see this, we can potentially see a triple threat at either Backlash, King or Queen in the ring, or Clash of the Castle. But I think we see. Well, I was hoping to see a final or a triple threat of Backlash between Nia, Liv, and Becky, but now we don't see that. I think we see something maybe at Backlash between Liv and Becky, because now this is the fourth time Liv's been runner-up. She's lost 2 Rumbles, a Battle Royal, and then there's something else. I think it might have been 3 Rumbles. I don't know. But she's been run up to 4 for 4 things. So with that, I think we see Liv being put in the world title scene very soon, more or less to help kind of kickstart her and Rhea's feud more than anything else, really. I mean,
Yep.
what are you thinking?
Good. That's yeah. Basically got it there. She's I think it's gonna be a lot better for her to when she beats Becky for the title, so that then they can start the whole Rhea versus her feud, hopefully by SummerSlam.
Oh, yes. Liv was the runner-up for Royal Rumble 23, Royal Rumble 24, Elimination Chamber 24, and the Raw Battle Royal. She's been a runner-up to Rhea, Bayley, and Becky now twice.
Damn. That's wild.
Yeah, I do find that very interesting. That I don't, because now that's 4 times that she's a runner-up.
Mm-hmm. She's not able to get the job done.
Rhea did retweet the emoji that it's like the face with the hand over the mouth. She did retweet that or she did retweet the picture of Liv like that, but with that emoji as the caption of it. That's all I really have for that, though. I don't really see much else outside of Rhea being involved in all of this right
That
now.
should definitely happen.
I think I did like the highlight of them, besides Maxine eliminating Candice and Indy Hartwell. I also like the fact that she tried going up against Nia Jax like she could beat her ass.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But I mean, that's all I had for Raw. I mean, you got anything else for Raw, Ryan?
Not anything for Raw, so I think that moves us on to SmackDown, Day 1 of the WWE 2024 Draft, baby.
Hell yeah!
Starting it off, you want to go over the Raw picks? I'll go over SmackDown picks.
Yeah. So Raw, we saw the first pick be Jey Uso, second pick be Seth Rollins, third. I was really happy with this. Braun Breaker. And before we go any farther, just to remind everyone, the champions were protected on each brand, except for the women's tag team champions. They can go anywhere.
Yeah, they aren't really tied to any brand, which I thought was pretty interesting. Not tied to any brand,
which I think is actually nice. But at the same time, if we want to tie superstars to brands, we need to have
consistency.
2 separate. Yeah, we need to have consistency with these titles. But more draft picks from Raw were Liv Morgan, which hell yeah. Ricochet, Sheamus. I think, like I said, we see that Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. We saw the Alpha Academy, the entire academy. We saw NXT star Kiana James come up. She was a 2-time, and she's like a 2-time NXT Women's Tag Star, and then like a 1-time NXT champion or something like that. NXT Women's Champion, I think. We saw couple other stars come up. We're making them more there. They're kind of still new in the main roster. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. We finally saw Ivar come back after like 2 months down in the developmental. I don't know why he went back.
Yeah.
And then we saw Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark finally be the last two people drafted on day one.
Which moves us on to the SmackDown draft picks, right?
Yes, sir.
Bro, number one pick of the entire draft, by the way, Bianca Belair, the EST herself. Number two, we got
ESTFW.
W-E. After that, we had Carmelo Hayes coming up from NXT officially now.
Hey, Melo don't miss. He's him.
Melo don't miss. He is him. After that, we had, or no, actually, no, we'll move on to that in a second. We had Randy Orton, Nia Jax, LA Knight, yeah. We had the entirety of the bloodline, which was like confirmed to be Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Paul Heyman, as those three being the new bloodline.
And to not cut you off, but Jacob Fatu is supposed to make his in-ring debut here in the next week or two.
Oh, hell yeah, baby. I'm excited for that.
That's something to keep our eye out for. I think it's going to happen on SmackDown. And I think it's going to happen with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. But I think they've waited out and they do it at Backlash.
I could see it because of that tag match that got confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but moving on with the next draft picks, we had AJ Styles, Andrade El Idolo. We had the OC, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Michin. Then we had Cedric Alexander and Ashante the Adonis, which I thought was like a very random like pair of dudes to be drafted. But then we had Baron Corbin getting called up to SmackDown. And I'm not going to lie, my heart broke a little bit. He's not on the same brand as Braun Breaker.
The Wolf Dogs are no longer a thing.
Wolf Dogs aren't a thing anymore.
Cedric Alexander, we all know him. But Ashante's the Adonis. I think he's more of like a manager type role, but him and Cedric Alexander have been paired in NXT for a while now. So, I mean, I don't know what we see with them.
That's just because I haven't been paying attention to NXT that I didn't know that. Then that's my bad.
Yeah. No, like so we only stars we really seen get brought up because I'm not counting Ivar here. We saw Cedric Alexander and Ashante, so there's two. We saw Melo. I mean, he already signed, but I mean, he was mainly on NXT for a while still, so I think this is his official call up.
Mm-hmm.
Kiana James, same with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the same how I think with Melo. And then Braun Breaker, he's been here and there, still the same thought process. And Baron Corbin. So we saw 8 NXT stars get called up. I mean, obviously, a few of them have already been on the main roster prior, but their stint in NXT has been more significant for their careers than what they were on the main roster prior. So that's why I'm counting them as now NXT stars. But we seen. I mean, what do you? Or actually, before we hit that, what else you got there, Ryan? What are your thoughts?
I mean, hell, we ain't got too much. The interesting part, like right before the show started, Roman Reigns said he announced himself as not being eligible for the draft. So that kind of implies more now that Roman Reigns ain't going to be on the show for a very long time. Like, we're not going to see him for quite a bit, I don't think.
It's very possible. I can see it as well.
But then that moved us into the opening segment of Friday Night SmackDown, which was Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles signing their Backlash contract for the WWE Championship match. Which this wasn't a whole lot going on here, but I liked the story that they kind of started to tell with AJ and Cody having this tense back and forth, and like it was respectful where they were acknowledging their history, or not their history because they haven't really met each other in the ring yet, but how their careers kind of aligned with each other and how they both respect what the other has done. But at the same time, they were both firing shots at each other like, you know, this could get heated and it could turn into a pretty good feud, I think.
I was honestly waiting to see them. I didn't obviously, like I said, I didn't watch SmackDown, but I seen a video of them walking towards each other, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting."
Oh yeah, very interesting.
That was at the end of the night, but I thought they were gonna do like the Bullet Club thing.
That'd be pretty dope.
the Wolves or whatever it is. I thought they were going to do that, but then I remember you had told me something about him getting kicked out of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, AJ it kind of did, but he'll still acknowledge it. He'll still do the too sweet. Cody dropped a pretty good bar in this where he said, "It's not a dream match for me. It's a must win." Because, dude, I just had to throw that in there because I think Cody Rhodes is just a bar spitting machine. Like, he's just the most quotable dude on that roster. He's coming out with these bars. But right afterwards, we had Triple H coming out to announce the first round of the WWE draft pick with Cody Rhodes. And right after they announced all of them, Carmelo Hayes was part of their first round draft picks, and he came out to face off with Cody Rhodes, and he called his shot. Melo called his shot, and Melo don't miss. And Cody Rhodes accepted his challenge for a main event match tonight on SmackDown, and that was confirmed for later.
I was taking a sip of my Gatorade when you said this. Like you said, oh fuck. No, I forgot. Never mind. I had something for the AJ Styles thing. I forgot what it was though. No. Good. So how Cody said it's not a dream match for me, but it's a must win. I think this is to kind of prove like, hey, yeah, I may be champion, but I'm also a Rhodes, and the Rhodes don't really have that big of a world title thing under their belt. So he has to keep pushing their legacy in order for also his world title reign to seem legitimate.
Yeah, now he's got to further his legacy and further his family's legacy with that belt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I'm excited as hell for this Backlash match. Like, it's a dream match for me at least, because damn, I love both of these guys in the ring.
I do too. And someone else I do love in the ring is Rey Mysterio.
Which moves us on to Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, the LWO, taking on Humberto and Garza of Legado del Fantasma. This wasn't too much of a match. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. It was really quick. Like, I really expected it to go longer than it did, but we were obviously leading into a big angle afterwards after Rey and Dragon Lee defeated Legado del Fantasma, Santos and Elektra Lopez came out, and they revealed some security footage of was it the Friday before WrestleMania when Dragon Lee got attacked? Yes, so they revealed security footage of that night, and it revealed what we've all been speculating all along. Carlito was the man to attack Dragon Lee before WrestleMania. After this, Carlito Carlito had the best face. Like, how could it have been me? It's not me. And then he attacks LWO and runs away. What are your thoughts on this?
I think Carlito goes on his own heel run. Then we see just a him versus Rey Mysterio type thing, and he just has LWO in his fucking corner, like Rey does. But I think we see Santos try to lure Carlito to Legado del Fantasma, which would honestly, I could see that happening. Or since Carlito attacked Dragon Lee, well, who was there for Rey when he was getting attacked by Santos and Dominic? Andrade. I think Andrade gets involved in this somehow. And Carlito, like you say, Rey's cutting a promo next week. Carlito tries to attack him. Andrade comes in and basically just fucks up Carlito. Like, absolutely just beats his ass. And, like, Rey's obviously hurting and everything. But then Legado del Fantasma comes out on one side, and then we have LWO on the other side. And now we just have this huge fucking standoff between these two. And this is where we really get to see this take off, because this has been stale for
months. I hope so. This feud has been going on for so long. I am tired of these two groups feuding. I cannot lie.
Like, if you're gonna do something with these two groups, you need to make it big, and this is where you could make it big.
Like, please do something now. Like, I like your idea there of putting Carlito with Santos's group and then putting Andrade with Rey's. Turn that into even more of a big old gang war.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just so bored of this fucking feud.
Yeah.
Like, even the heel turn didn't do that much for me.
Yeah.
It was not.
I think we need the old heel Carlito.
Spit apples in the face. Spit the apple.
In the face. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But like I said,
I think
that
we need
match
that.
was very quick. It wasn't too much of a match. It was more angle than match, which was kind of the same for the next match, which was Braun Breaker versus Cedric Alexander. And literally went like 2 minutes. Alexander did a pretty cool springboard move, which Braun broke him in half midair with a spear. And
Braun's insane.
Braun is insane, man. He runs those ropes like a machine. Then as Braun is like celebrating his win, they showed a replay of Braun's midair spear, and in the middle of it, it cut like the screen all glitched out and stuff for a new Uncle Howdy teaser to appear, which Alex
we'll get to.
Alex will cover that. And we had a really cool, fun, just backstage segment, I thought, with Tiffany, which led into a match later on in the night.
Where Tiffany.
Yeah, where Tiffany and Naomi were going to have a match, but I thought Tiffany's new bar of having a Tiffany Epiphany needs to just be her new catchphrase. That's the only reason I wrote it down. I thought that was funny as shit. Afterwards, we had the second round of the draft pick, which, not too much happened there. We had Randy, Braun, Nia, and Liv all get drafted in round 2. Michelle McCool and Tori Wilson actually showed up as the people who called out the draft picks, which was, fun cameo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tori Wilson actually got a huge ovation. She got a huge Tori chant. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with Tiffany, to be honest. She's an up-and-coming star, but she's cemented herself as someone to take legitimate.
Oh, 100%.
She, like, just the way she's presented herself as well is phenomenal. I love this whole Tiffany character, but I don't want to see it go stale. They need to keep it. They need to keep it fresh. They need to keep Tiffany come out being a bitch. Be like, oh, this should have been me. Da-da-da-da-da. This is all me. And then, but like I said, at some point, basically, you have Chelsea Green just absolutely buck the fuck up and have her just do fucking like she just comes heel and like absolutely murders everyone.
Chelsea Green?
So, yeah, like she just like Matt. I would love to see this. He just signed with I think it's TNA or something like that. Matt Cardona though, he's already a heel in itself. And TNA, I think we see it. If he signs, I think we see it in WWE as well.
I think it could. It'd be pretty dope.
What was last night? 26th? Okay. What are we on now?
Moves us on to a backstage segment where a car was pulling up to Paul Heyman. Out of the car steps our new tribal chief, it can only be assumed, Solo Sikoa, and the MFT Tama Tonga right next to him. Which,
what the fuck does MFT stand for?
I have no fucking clue. I got absolutely no idea what that stands for. But I thought it was hilarious how Solo was just staring down Paul, and then they had the great shot down the hallway, and you saw Kevin Owens running up from behind Solo for like a good 3 seconds as he's just running down the hallway at him before he eventually attacks both of them. They start brawling and get separated by security, which leads into the next segment, which was Bianca Belair and the Kabuki Warrior. Well, Bianca Belair was cutting a promo. She was getting interviewed by Jackie Redmond when the Kabuki Warriors came out to face off with her. And we got confirmation that at Backlash, we are getting a women's tag team title match, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus the Kabuki Warriors.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited there. I think
this is where we see Jade Cargill win her first title.
I think so too. That's what I was just about to ask. I think this is where Bianca and Jade win their titles. But I mean, this was literally just a stare down. They were all just looking at each other. No one fought or anything until KO and Tama Tonga rolled out onto the entranceway in between all of them and just brawled down to the ring in a really funny segment. They all just started brawling in the ring. Eventually, Solo Sikoa showed up to attack Kevin Owens as well. Security came out. They separated them all. when Tama Tonga and Solo started going nuts, they attacked all the security guards, knocked them all out. When who makes the save? The Viper himself, Randy Orton.
I have voices in my head. Same Randy.
They to me, they understand, they to me.
I'm excited for this match at Backlash, to be honest. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Tama Tonga and Solo. I think this again. I think this is where we see. I think this is where we see Jacob
Fatu.
Yep. I think it's where we see Jacob come in and.
Hell yeah, man! I would like to see a
debut.
You remember how Solo Sikoa debuted in the Drew McIntyre Roman Reigns match by pulling Drew out of the ring while wearing a hoodie? I want Jacob Fatu to do the same thing to like Randy Orton during this match. Just redo that. It'd be pretty dope. I'm excited to see Jimmy. This match. Why not. Oh hell yeah, man! I would love to see, like you said, Jacob Fatu eventually get involved. I'm excited for this tag match because you know that these four guys are just gonna go crazy on it. Yeah. Especially with Kevin Owens, especially with what Kevin Owens has been doing recently. Like he got cut up last week and he's just going crazy this week, wanting to fight everybody.
Dude, Kevin Owens has always been that guy that he's always wanting to fight everyone. Like
he is that guy.
If I'm taking someone to go into a street fight with me, I'm taking Kevin Owens. Like on the current roster, I'm taking Kevin Owens. That motherfucker will not stop.
Dude, Kevin Owens is so underrated, I think. Still, like everyone like loves Kevin Owens, but I still think he's underrated. I think he should be a world champion.
Agreed.
Oh, damn. I say that about a lot of people, but I really, really mean it about Kevin Owens.
I think
he
Kevin
deserves it.
I think he needs a rerun because wasn't the last person he faced or one of the last people he faced wasn't like Goldberg, and Goldberg like murdered him.
It was Roman Reigns.
Oh, it was Roman?
Well, the last time he fought for a title was against
like
Roman Reigns, but the last time he held it was the Goldberg thing that you're mentioning right there.
Fuck Goldberg for that.
Fuck Goldberg.
Like good wrestler. Fuck with him. He's cool. Just don't ruin
he's a legend, but
don't ruin the younger generation. They have so much going for him. You're do something.
You suck. Oh man. But you mentioned Tiffany Stratton earlier and how she could be a really big star and how she really carries herself. I think that the next match, Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi, a #1 contendership for Bayley's Women's World title at Backlash, was really a showcase of that. Tiffany was holding her own during this match the entire time. Like Naomi was getting some good offense in there, but Tiffany, like every time you see her in the ring, you can clearly tell like she's getting better and better. She's just putting it all together as she's working, and it's going great for her.
Yeah, I got you.
But this match was really confusing for me because I mean we had Bayley on commentary, and at some point Nia Jax, the newest SmackDown draft, attacked her on commentary, and Naomi saw this and got out of the ring and came and attacked Nia Jax and ended up getting punched in the face for it, which called for the end of the match, which I was confused by. Because normally we've seen in the past years of WWE, if somebody gets punched or attacked in their match, even if they're the one like starting the attack on somebody, if they get hit, then they win the match because of DQ. But we saw the commentators say that the referee called for this match to be actually a no contest. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a new implemented rule where we're changing the DQ rules now, which I'm all for.
I am too.
Yeah,
honestly.
Which it was a good angle because the way they set it up, it's no contest now. It let Nick Aldis later on make the triple threat match between Bayley, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton. It should be noted too, after the match, Tiffany laid both Bayley and Naomi out with another prettiest moonsault ever because it's just that damn pretty.
It really is that pretty. She's got
it is though.
I hate to say it.
It is the prettiest moonsault ever. And yeah, it came across like an absolute star in this as she went over both of them. Well, didn't go over both of them, but she was left as the last woman standing.
Yeah, as she should.
As she should.
She should. Talk your shit, queen.
It's Tiffy time!
It's Tiffy time. I hate
But then
that
after
so
that,
much.
we did
But it's
have.
growing on there.
It is good. I love it. I love it, and it's been growing on me for a while. Afterwards, we had Nick Aldis in the backstage segment. He confirmed the 2 matches that we've already talked about: Kevin Owens and KO versus the Bloodline, and the Triple Threat Women's World Championship match, which afterwards led us right into the main event: the American Nightmare, the undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes versus him, the new guy on SmackDown, Carmelo Hayes. They had a really good match here. It was definitely the showcase match for Carmelo Hayes on the main roster. He didn't win, obviously. This is Cody's first match, I think, after WrestleMania. So there's no shot Melo would ever win.
But it was good for Melo.
It was good for Melo. It let everyone see Melo as a really big star. I think it was really important to note Melo didn't hit his finisher on Cody. So Cody didn't get a chance to kick out of Melo's finisher, which I thought that was a good thing to protect Melo with that. But after the match, we had AJ Styles meet Cody Rhodes in the ring, and it looked like he was about to jump Cody from behind. And they had a bit of a stare down, but they ended up just shaking hands, which kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier, which I like how they're doing this rivalry is respectful, but they both know that or I guess Cody is more wary of AJ Styles now that he's a heel.
Have you noticed the last 3 world champions that we've gotten? They've all faced AJ Styles.
Hell yeah, as they should. AJ is Styles, a goat.
Roman,
AJ I want to put AJ on my wrestling Mount Rushmore. Fuck it. Get out of here, Triple H.
Triple H.
Fuck Triple H. Put fucking AJ Styles up there. Damn straight. You don't want none. Nope. They don't want none. Nope. Don't want none. Nope. Yeah, he does have a new song. I don't know the words to it.
You can't even hear it. It's a Def Rebel song, and Def Rebel sucks.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely. I hate Def Rebel.
Def Rebel sucks.
For real.
But I mentioned earlier on nothing else for SmackDown, only the Uncle Howdy teaser that I mentioned earlier, which sure you want to go over right now?
Yeah. So
let's
Uncle Howdy, we all know, has been throwing teasers around here lately. There's the Nightbird song that's been going on every SmackDown and Raw. Has not been at live events, just to see if that, I don't know if they'll change it. We've seen these glitches happen in the screen. Obviously, we've seen QR codes, whatever. This past QR code was down when they showed the Raw draft pool. Is down by Braun Strowman, as I mentioned earlier. So I think we see Braun Strowman potentially being in this new Wyatt 6 because he is set to return soon. And now that happened with the SmackDown or the whole QR code, that's my thoughts. I'm still heavy on these 4 though. I'm still heavy on Uncle Howdy, Alexa Bliss. We saw the Veiled Nun, like I mentioned last week. No, I didn't. There's Veiled Nun. It said I'm Nobody in the forehead. Eric Rowan, like I said, contractual obligations. Nikki Cross. The video from Raw, there was a figure in a trance in a cave, which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that might lead something. Joe Gacy, I just happening on X one day, he posted, "Where am I?" So I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious to see how far this leads in. And he's been doing it for a while now, so I don't know if that's just kind of leading into anything. I'm just kind of throwing it out there.
Right, I like
Dexter
Loomis
thinking of it, and Matt Hardy. Dexter Loomis is kind of a weird one to throw around, but Matt Hardy is still talks to AEW. So I've been
he's in TNA right
videos. Now. Yes, but he's a free agent. He's a free agent. Last thing I seen, he was talking to AEW about a contract. But they have WWE used the same TikTok again that they used for Bray Wyatt when they were doing the White Rabbit. Now with the Nightbird, these URL endings have been kind of weird. The first one was UED NJ51A, and I seen something. And SmackDown's was YSNS Y51S. I think these kind of lead into members of who it could be. Like Uncle Howdy is the U and the Y. It's the first letter of their first name and the last letter of their last name. This is where it gets weird, though. We have Eric Rowan now being the third letter in it. And now the S, I think, takes over from Nikki Cross. Then no, D for Dexter Loomis, the second S. And then that's the first S. Second S is now Nikki Cross. The Y for me would be Joe Gacy, NXT star, like I mentioned. And then the A is obviously Alexa Bliss. The 51, the 5-1, 5 plus 1, because that equals the 6 members. Like I said, I watched this guy on YouTube. I don't remember his YouTube handle, but I had posted that, said I got the credit from the guy on YouTube. Someone commented under our X though and said they could see the YS and S, YS differently as you see now, see you soon, which I thought was kind of interesting. D_ING judgment on X. But then on Raw, the following week, which was this past Raw, we saw there was 2 URLs. One was 5 5s, and it was like a weird like QR thing. It said Bray. If you typed in Bray, it was like 5, and then it took you to, I think, a video if you typed it in. But if you typed in anything else, you typed in Bray, it's remembered. Howdy, hello. We saw that in the Bronson Reed glitch. For if you typed in Bo, he saw. You typed in Wyatt, you type in, it gives you forever. You type in Pluto, gives open your eyes. Cave is set free. Buzzards is follow. You put in a question mark, is Penta, but it's like drawn out in a bunch of like, I don't know, like different symbols. But Penta means 5. So you mean maybe 5 members, like you were just saying. There was, if you typed in red, it's that red circle for like the buzzards and everything. And if you, and Bray said that life is a circle. And if you typed in help, and it says help comes to those who help themselves, which I thought was pretty interesting to point out. The first one, like I said, was maybe 5 members, but then the second one was invitation. I think we're getting invited to something that is going to lead deeper into the Uncle Howdy thing.
It's almost like he's inviting us to join the family.
Essentially, yeah. Or like how we saw the video on Raw where they placed the note of remember who you are.
Yeah.
We might be invited into the house. I don't know. This past SmackDown's 2 URLs were Metamorph. Ooh, he sees you. Metamorpho means to transform, to transfigure. And then we saw SmackDowns again. Another one would be Metamorpho complete. There were 2 of them that you went with. Then so with that, this past SmackDowns, so if you got asked a question there, basically it was like, hey, I don't remember the questions, but you typed them in, whatever. You had 5 no's at the end. The first one was the picture of the people holding up the crows like we've seen prior. Second pick was the same thing, but the faces were crossed out. Third one was the red circle. Fourth one was the video, was Remember Who You Are, a video that we saw. We got that kind of part of the glitch that we saw on SmackDown. And then a 5th one was a driving video, which I didn't really catch anything. I forgot. There was something said. It's like, we're arriving to your destination or something like that. And then there was another thing said after that, and I forgot what it was. But on SmackDown, we saw the woman in the veiled dress as well, I think is when that was. Remember who you are. He sees you. I mean, if you went to that picture, there was if you did the questionnaire, you went to the picture itself, there was also they just wanted to belong. I mean, I'm kind of backtracking when I go through all this shit, but
I'm following you.
I'm gonna go all the way back to the first Raw when we started this shit. First Raw was time to wake up, take my hand, things would better, trust me. Whenever that SmackDown, same thing. Or I set them free out of the mirror clay, opened their eyes while you did nothing. The following Raw was you will bear witness, begin the endless crawl. Type the number of sense organs, and you shall behold all. And that's what it was. This was the thing I was typing when you type things. There's 5. We have 5 sense organs. We have our ears, eyes, nose, tongue, and skin. Which I thought was pretty interesting. Because
which relates back to like potentially like 5 members or the rest of like the 5 talk that's been going on with the teasers.
And then the note said, "Remember who you are." But again, there under that video, like I pointed out for this past SmackDown, there was like a thing you had to find it. You had to keep playing with the screen to find it. But if you held it, you could copy the entire thing. Like I said, SmackDown's was they just wanted to belong. Raw's was H1TA6IDUVAN. I looked it up and it led to a YouTube video that said time, and it was labeled as "Time is a flat circle," and the thumbnail is "You are reborn." Again, I go through like a YouTuber to help me find all this. If there's some stuff I don't find, because I do my own research on this. But the Uncle Howdy glitches we've been seeing all the QR codes these past few weeks, but now we see a potential Sister Abigail, maybe, because we saw a woman in a veiled dress, and then SmackDown was a "Remember Who You Are" note, a blurry figure, the crow drawing, and then the bunch of Pluto symbols that were everywhere when all these glitches were happening as well. There was also a TikTok that was posted on the _ come with me page, and there was a bunch of Pluto drawings making a Pluto with the crow in the middle, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. Because now we know that this crow is like, it's basically the White Rabbit. It is the number one thing we need to be paying attention to this night.
Right.
So that's honestly.
I've heard, like, I have definitely not been as invested as you are. I have not done nearly as much research as you have done. You like you're getting after it. I appreciate that. That's fucking awesome. Seriously, that's fucking epic.
With this being all said, I think we see Uncle Howdy and all them either come out at Backlash, or what would be really, I don't know if you can do this. I don't know how their laws are over there, but fuck it, do the Saudi show. Make it big. Yeah. Because I mean, if you're gonna do big, if you're making this as big as you're making it seem, it needs to be big.
Yeah, like hype this shit up, make it go all out, man. I'm pretty hyped for this.
I've been thinking, so if Braun Strowman's not a part of this new Wyatt 6, Wyatt 5, what I think is going to happen is Braun makes his debut back. He's Braun. He's big Braun Strowman. And then all these "Remember Who You Are" notes have been kind of focusing on Alexa Bliss and Braun because they were both the normal selves before they both disappeared off screen.
Yeah.
And that's why these notes are "Remember Who You Are" coming around, because now he's already got Nikki Cross. Because what we saw of Nikki Cross was she's kind of been in this trance at the beginning of this year, and then we've seen again the figure of in a trance in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe Nikki Cross is a definite now. I think Eric Rowan is a definite now. Because also, with this whole Chris in the Cave thing, there is skulls there that are display, and they're very similar to when Eric Rowan and Luke Harper wore those like skull masks for the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh damn!
So we might see
double teaser there.
That's what I'm saying. Eric Rowan, I'm still set on. Alexa Bliss, I'm set on. Just because I think it would be good, but at the same time, again, I think it's these notes that are kind of pushing Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss. And if Matt doesn't sign with AEW or TNA, Matt comes back in as Broken Matt Hardy, and him and Uncle Howdy basically run the show.
Oh yeah.
And there's your Wyatt 6.
I would love it, dude. I love every part of that. Like the idea of Eric Rowan coming back and Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman forming this Wyatt family around Uncle Howdy. That's 4 right there. So then the other 2, yeah, Nikki Cross and Matt Hardy, dude. Fucking
like, it doesn't need to be a full blown like tribute thing. It just
I don't think they should hammer home the idea that this is in honor of Bray Wyatt.
It needs to be its own ordeal as well.
Right. They need to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah. But this has been definitely pretty interesting to say, because I was also thinking, because I know you and I talked, there was glitches. There was silhouettes way back earlier this year about how you and I thought Kazuchika Okada was going to WWE.
Yeah.
Turned out it was Shawn Spears, but I think I wonder if those silhouettes had anything to do with it as well. Maybe they could reuse them or
Shawn
something.
Spears is involved in it.
I could see it.
That's completely
But he's
random.
more like he's
He
kind of
probably doesn't
playing the
have anything
Dexter
to do with
Loomis
it.
character. No, he's playing more of a Dexter Loomis character right now to Ridge Holland.
Oh, cool.
Because Ridge Holland announces like he said I'm going away indefinitely, then was back in the ring like 2 weeks later. It didn't make any sense. Because he was at Spring Breaking, which really confused me, and he's been showing up here and there. But I mean, with that being said, I think we see Uncle Howdy return soon, but it's everyone. And how I would like to do it, how I think would be really fucking badass, was remember how we had the Firefly Funhouse characters all around the arena, the stadiums?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we do it that way.
But
we have Uncle Howdy come out from the bottom of the ring.
Or the Wyatt family members?
Dude, with the members instead. And what I think we do is you have Uncle Howdy come out from the bottom of the ring, and whoever's in the middle of the ring is who he hits. I mean, shit. You could even go as far as Randy Orton.
Honestly, make it someone big.
Like, I'm going to say Randy Orton because, again, he did some work for the Wyatt family.
Yeah, he did. He did used to be like part of the Wyatt family. He feuded with Bray Wyatt for the longest time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, I don't really know where we see. That's the only thing I'm really stuck on is who do they fight first? Who do they go after first?
Right.
Who are they pecking at?
Who do they go after first is such an awkward like pitch because everybody right now it doesn't. I don't know. Like I'm trying to find the words to describe it, but it doesn't feel like this new era of WWE needs a big supernatural, like scary. You know what I mean? Kind of thing going on.
If the Fiend was still around, the Fiend would be perfect for where we're at. And of course, obviously, Bray Wyatt, it's very sad that he passed. But if Bray was still around, I think we'd still be a perfect era for the Fiend. If Vince would not have squashed him and Saudi against Goldberg.
Yeah, I agree. It all depends like how they're presented, you know.
Yeah.
Like like I said, it's also up to like personal preference. Like you are like into this shit. Like you fucking like are into this. Like and I appreciate that. That's fucking awesome. Personally,
yeah, Bray's always been one of those characters I fuck with.
Yeah, it's not fully my like cup of tea. It's not like particularly what I want to see the most. Like I think it's interesting. I think it's really cool, but it's not like what I prefer to see. Like my guy is Gunther. Like I want to see like the fucking epic in-ring matches and like all that shit. But dude, I'm really like keeping an open mind for this Uncle Howdy stuff, and I think he could be pretty epic. I'm
excited to see. With that being said, we see Backlash next Saturday, May 4th. Starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's like 7 p.m. local time over in France, whatever the fucking time change is. Obviously. I'm excited to see what's happening at Backlash. I'm excited to see this all Uncle Howdy thing. I'm excited to see everything that's happening in this Triple H era. It is absolutely going to be a banger of an era. Because now, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode, but Vince has finally has either showed or he's either shared or he's sold his 8.2 million shares in TKO. Yeah, like all of them for sure. I mean, I don't like Vince. Get him out of here. I know we don't talk about this much, but Vince has done what he's done. I think it's very awful. But now, honestly, dude, with how much money this man's got, dude, I think he's going to walk away scotch-free. Like, it really sucks. It's unfortunate. But with that being said, let's leave on a high note. I agree. Leave on a high note, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next week for the night 2 of the draft on Raw and SmackDown on that Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Yeah. What was it? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.